hearing. Okay.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Shivaradhare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Shivaradhare Yasodhanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Hare Krishna, this morning we will read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 15, text 22, 23, and 24. 22 and 23 have no purport. Here I will just read the Sanskrit translation and then go to text 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastapesya Bhadrasya Nityam Bhagavata Sevyam Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So text 22, 23. No need to repeat. Rajam Stvayano Prishtanam Suridam Suritpure Viprasapa Vimudanam Nishnatam Mustibirmitam Varunim Madiram Pitva Madhum Matita Sitasham Ajanatam Ivan Yonyam Chatupansha Vashishita. Translation, just a moment. O King, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwarka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmins. And as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Text 24. Prayena tat bhagavata Ishvarasya vishestitam mito nishnanti bhutani bhavayanti sayanmitaha prayena tat bhagavata Ishvarasya vishestitam mito nishnanti bhutani bhavayanti sayanmitaha prayena tat bhagavata Ishvarasya vishestitam mito nishnanti bhutani bhavayanti sayanmitaha. So, translation, word for word translation. Prayena etat. Yeah, so prayena etat. It is almost by Bhagavata of the personality of Godhead, Ishvarasya of the Lord, Vishestitam by the will of Mittaha, one another, Nishnanti, do kill, Bhutani, the living entities, Bhavayanti, as also protect, Cha, also, Yat, of whom, Mitta, one another. Factually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord, the personality of Godhead. Sometimes people kill one another, and at other times they protect one another. Srila Prabhupada ki. According to the anthropologist, there is nature's law of struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. But they do not know that behind the law of nature is the supreme direction of the supreme personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the law of nature is executed under the direction of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is peace in the world, it must be known that it is due to the goodwill of the Lord. And whenever there is upheaval in the world, it is also due to the supreme will of the Lord. Not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is disobedience of the established rules enacted by the Lord, there is war between men and between nations. The surest way to the path of peace, therefore, is dovetailing everything with the established rule of the Lord. The established rule is that whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we sacrifice, or whatever we give in charity must be done for the full satisfaction of the Lord. No one should do anything, eat anything, sacrifice anything, or give anything in charity against the will of the Lord. Discretion is the better part of valor, and one must learn how to discriminate between actions which may be pleasing to the Lord and those which may not be pleasing to the Lord. An action is thus judged by the Lord's pleasure or displeasure. There is no room for personal whims. We must always be guided by the actions performed which are linked with the Supreme Lord. That is the act of doing things perfectly. Brahmajnana timandasya janansa shanaka sakshurmiritam yena tasmai shigurave namah. Shitchaitanyamanopistam stapitam yena bhutale svam rupa kadamyam dadati svapadam tikam. Vandeham shiyo shiyuda padakamanam shigurum vaishnavam sham shirupam jagajatam saganaragnatam vitam tam sajivam sadvaitam savdutam parjana saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakanalita Shivishakam Vitam Shah Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandha Chatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Sudhadevi Panamama Hare Priya Pankha Kalptrabhasha Kripa Sindhavivasha Padnam Pavanvyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasad Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Srinyavadi Paskachai Desatarani Srila Prabhupada Ki. So finally, Arjun gives the news about residents of Dwarka. And it's not good that he says they all killed each other in madness. That is what happens during a war. And in the next verse here, Prabhupada comments, it's all due to the supreme will of the Lord, because beyond material nature is a controller of material nature. Lord Krishna, Maya Prakshana Prakriti, Chucha Checha Characharam. That and material nature works according to the laws of nature. Prabhupada speaks about the stringent laws of nature that one cannot not say I'm innocent because I don't remember what I've done in previous lives. Therefore, it's unfair to get a reaction in this life. One may be ignorant of a certain law, but if one transgresses the law, one is still punished. Fire will not say, oh, this is a young child, if it touches me, I will not burn. No, it will burn. So these are stringent laws of material nature. And that this is also found in many religions. It's called the golden rule. That golden rule. That one who causes distress to another or hurts others, he will be treated in a similar way in the future. That one who takes up the sword to kill people will be killed by the sword. and of course, people kill one another, and the cause is ignorance. Tolstoy said, as long as there is slaughterhouses, there will be wars. And that is what we see. That especially these countries which are now fighting with each other, very big meat eaters. And we can say, no, how do you prove that? This is the law of karma. Why does it happen? Look at the situation. What are they doing according to the scriptures? And what should be the reaction? It's very exactly. Therefore, they said a devotee sees past, present, and future. He sees the future because he sees activities of the people now, and he knows what will happen in the future. That is very clear, and nobody can stop this. And what is the deeper cause? Prabhupada, as usually in the purport, he paraphrases verses. And in the purport, he paraphrases the verse, Yat karosi yat asnasi yat yosi dadasi yat tapasyosi kanti yat tat mat arpanam. Whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, whatever austerity you do, and charity and so on, should be done as an offering to me, Krishna says. If one does not this do for this mat arpanam, an offering to Krishna, one gets reactions. One gets reactions, one after another. And we have created so many reactions that so nothing happens without the sanction of the Lord. Even a blade of grass does not move. Because this is sanctions to the Lord. We have free will, but Krishna, we wanted to execute his free will without Krishna. And Krishna said, fine, you can do, but these are the laws. I want you to be responsible. For every action, you will get a reaction. So we should desire to be responsible. That's what the soul does. Is that we should desire to follow the laws of Krishna. And otherwise, we should desire to follow Krishna's transcendental knowledge. And then our situation will change, but as long as we are not doing that, then material nature will not cooperate with our wishes. That material nature is so designed to give us trouble and to purify us. That's the good side. For a devotee, purification takes place. For the non-devotee, it's a waste of time. He just gets from one body to another in ignorance. And that, this Prabhupada says, the anthropologist says, there is a nature's law of struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. And that is typical for the material world. Always strife and competition. Competition with one another. And why? To become the greatest. To become the greatest sense enjoyer. To become proud of one's achievement or whatever. It's all a waste of time. Instead, it's all bewildering that this competition is factually hidden competition against Krishna. We want to become the enjoyer, and he's a prime enjoyer. And by this competition is based on I and mine, a separatist mentality. This is for my enjoyment. But no, everything should be used in Krishna's service, because it belongs to Krishna. All this competition it brings anxiety, unhappiness. That therefore Krishna is giving us varnashram. Varnashram, that competition is not there. Everyone does his duty according to his nature, and there is cooperation between the varnas. That in the varnashram system, that no one has to worry about education. The Brahmins give free education. No one has to worry about his protection. The Kshatriyas will give protection. No one has to be worried about his food. The Vaishyas will provide the food. And the Sudras, they help. They assist all the others and develop also good qualities like cleanliness and so on. So this is a different society. We see in the capitalist society there is this competition. In the communist society they say everything belongs to the people, not which is factually closer to our philosophy, that we say everything belongs to God. They say everything belongs to the people. And what is the case there? The sense to take initiative is gone. That everything is provided for the people. So it's also not good. So the ideal society is the Vedic society, the Varnashram society. And we need to work on this in our movement to be happy and peaceful. That when we have land and we are on the countryside, we are very fortunate. That you move to the city, you are in passion. Very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness. And that of course we have to be in the cities for preaching, but devotees should mostly live on the land. And learn to live in harmony with nature, because that is our philosophy. Prabhupada is one of the purposes of ISKCON to help everyone to live in harmony with God and each other. That's one of our purposes. And it's important because the world becomes more and more in that competitive sphere, and the care for each other is not there. Social systems are abolished. That for many so-called reasons, social care is not there anymore. It becomes more and more a struggle for existence in modern society. Difficult to survive. That you have to pay a mortgage for a house. To move, you need a car. So many things. It becomes so complicated. That in India it's still a little more simple, but there are other problems. That this world is not free from problems. That's not possible. There will always be these reactions of material nature. That it said whenever there's upheaval in the world, it's all due to the supreme will of the Lord. It's difficult to accept for many people that what they are going through, that the fault lies in their own heart. That they have done things in the past, and it requires humility to accept that. But if you go to a difficult time and you pray to Krishna, you say, yes, I've been put in that situation by my own karma, Tatino kampamsa mixna bunjat meivat et vakfa probeer vitatamasте, shivetio muktivades, or the Abdayapak. The first spoken by Brahma. We get these reactions, this karma, and we accept it. That's the first thing. You accept your situation, whatever your situation are in, and then your anxiety immediately diminishes. We are going to fight against it. It's not that we should not try to improve, but we should always think that if Krishna willing, that and accept our situation of suffering. And Krishna, if we accept it, then we will become purified. We accept the fault lies in me. And that's the purification, that's the rectification. If we don't accept the fault lies in me, we think the fault lies in others. And that is the materialistic, this is the materialistic way of life. And unfortunately, world leaders don't give the example in this regard. That they're fighting with each other. Or, of course, there are God leaders also who have some sense of God consciousness. And that's important. That you can be materialistic, but also God conscious. That's pious. It will not help one much in spiritual life when it has to become detached from material enjoyment. But anyway, they are pious, and they will also suffer less. Someone asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, I see Maharaj this, we are doing all these austerities and so on, but I see many of these materialists, they are quite satisfied with their situation, and it goes on, and and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, yes, Krishna, let's go it on for some time, but it will be finished. So it's all temporary, and that things change, and karma comes in waves by the will of the Lord, and that's also indicated that in Satya Yuga people will receive less karmic reaction. In Kali Yuga it's crazy, the reactions that comes when Bali Maharaj was entering to conquer the heavenly planets. King Indra spoke with Brihaspati and asked, what happens? And Brihaspati said, these asuras have got strength by worshipping Sukracharya Brahman, and on the strength of the Brahman, they could enter the heavenly planets. So there's nothing you can do about it. You must wait till the time becomes favorable. So, and that is, time goes in waves. The demons flourish for some time, but then it's finished. So that is why the will of the Lord, that this is important. Krishna conscious means seeing the hand of the Lord in everything. That Krishna may bring his devotee in anxiety to help him to more surrender to him. And we should take this opportunity. If we are in anxiety, we pray more intensely to Krishna, to Srila Prabhupada as the spiritual master. But factually, all this upheaval in the world is because people are disobeying the laws of nature. And Prabhupada quotes as law this verse, Yat karosi yat asyas yat yosi dadas yat yat tapasyosi kaunteya tat karusma pat mat arpanam. That so Krishna says, whatever you do, give it to me. That we have too much money. Mostly we don't have, but if we have money, we whatever money we have, we spend for Krishna directly or in relation to Krishna, and but yes, the only way to get peace is performing this offering this mat arpanam. So the chanting of the holy name we chant every day is an offering to the Supreme Lord. And it is say this is the surest way to the path of peace, doing this jahya. But people are not doing jahyas anymore in this age. They may do they may do austerities, study at the university, which is an austerity, so many things that to attain things for their own sense gratification, and but that will not help. You may flourish for some time, foolishly identifying with a body and thinking you are happy, but that happiness is not lasting, and it doesn't really give happiness to the heart, who is craving for love, from the Supreme Lord. So this is a great lessons for us to learn. That brings up what's the practical value for our lives that we see here. What is a reflection for us from this verse? Should reflect whether we do everything 24 hours a day really for the pleasure of Krishna. If not, then we must improve. That it's not difficult to do things for Krishna. The soul does things by desire. We must just change our desire. We must do everything what we do for the pleasure of Krishna. Of course, sinful activities we cannot do. That's we have to block. But everything practically can be used in Krishna's service some way or another. And so these are the stringent laws of material nature. And nobody can do something about it. And the great example given here by Arjuna is all these Yadavas, residents of the Varkavu, were killed in each other by the curse of the Brahmins. And this was Krishna's arrangement. They had to be removed from this world. It started with Samba, one of the grandchildren of Krishna, with other youngsters were joking they were joking with the sages like Narada Muni and so. So they were joking, and because they dressed Samba as a woman, a girl, and they put something on her belly, under his belly, to show that it was like the girl was pregnant. They went to the sages and joked with them, and they said, will this girl give birth to a boy or a girl? interesting. When Sridhar Swami was in his last days in Mayapur, he fell unconscious on the bed, and devotees were around him, and also a doctor. And because of his liver disease, his belly was swollen. And when he came back to consciousness, the doctor was with his stethoscope, hearing the belly. The stethoscope was on the belly, and that and Sridhar Swami opens his eyes and he asks the doctor, "Will it be a boy or a girl?" And everyone started to laugh. So he was on the verge of leaving his body, and he was still joking. That so that's a pure devotee. But the sages, when they asked, when they were asked by the youngsters, "Is it a boy or a girl?" they became quite grave. And they said, "This girl will give birth to a piece of iron, which will be the cause of the destruction of the Yadu dynasty." And then they found this piece of iron under the cloth of Sambhav. And they informed Ugrasena. And Ugrasena became full of anxiety. "We are being cursed by the Brahmins." And he ordered to cut this piece of iron, to pulver it into iron dust, and that iron dust they threw into the ocean. He ordered to throw it in the ocean. Only there was one little piece left that also was thrown in the ocean and was swallowed by a fish, and later captured by a fisherman who found a little piece of iron and put it on his arrow as an arrowhead. And later that arrowhead was used to shot an arrow into Krishna's feet. And then Krishna so-called left this world, that but Krishna cannot leave this world. He's everywhere. But anyway, it was a pastime. But then all this pulvered iron again came on the beach and grew into the bamboo sticks, which made the bamboo sticks very sharp. But then King Ugrasena called all the Yadus in the Sudharma hall and told them, we have been cursed by the Brahmins. What to do? We have been cursed. It's a very serious situation. And it was discussed and decided that all the Yadus would go to Prabhas and to get the blessings of Brahmins, but then they went to and make offering to the Brahmins to counteract the curse. But they went to Prabhas, and like Kshatriyas sometimes do, they make liquor from rice. And they were taking the liquor, the rice, and became drunk. And they started to fight with each other, with these bamboo sticks, which from the ocean, which were very sharp, and they all killed each other. So that was the will of the Lord, that to remove them from the earth, that this may not be seen as an ordinary reaction of karma. It was pure the will of the Lord. But yes, because he wanted all these demigods, most were demigods, to go back to their positions, which they did right after that. So this is an extraordinary situation, but Prabhupada's purport is very applicable to today's situation and all the wars and the reactions, and one fights with another, and the reactions becomes always heavier. It doesn't decrease. The situation does not become better by fighting. That in a war there are no winning parties. The so-called winning parties are just an illusion. No one wins anything by fighting wars. It's just an exchange of karma by the will of the Lord. But the world situation will not become better as long as they do not understand this principle. Thank you very much. Any question, comments? Yeah.
So as you mentioned that the best way is to accept that this is due to our bad karma, our previous action.
Yeah. We have to accept our bad karma, our reactions, yes.
But Maharaj, if you can guide, like what should we do, like after accepting it? Because many times, depending on personality, generally they accept it, but once we accept, then we tend to not act on it, meaning
Yeah.
to improve anything or to
Yeah.
just accept
So
as
accepting is one thing. The other aspect is, should we do something about it? If it's still our karma, that no, we have to do our best to improve our situation. And that, but when we try to improve our situation, we should always think, if Krishna willing, because it may not work, and we should be prepared for that also. If a tiger attacks us, we don't have to say, oh, it's our karma, let him come. No, we defend ourselves. But whether we are able to defend us also depends on the Supreme Lord. It's not that we don't have to fight. There is that struggle for existence. And we must fight the struggle. Yes, but we may not be able. If you have the karma that by you want to do something about it, and if it succeeds, that's also your karma. But if you don't try, yes, then we just will suffer also. That I asked this to Gopaswami, Dr. Gopaswami, Prabhupada disciple, who is from France. Prabhupada asked him to take care of the devotees as a doctor in Vrindavan, and he did for some time, but he's still doing that. He's retired now. But we asked him, what's the use of your profession if we get all our karma anyway? Then nothing you can do about it. His answer was, yes, we get our karma, but you have a certain freedom if to react in such a way to diminish it, or to react in such a way to increase your suffering. That's up to us. The scriptures say you have a life of 100 of maybe 100 years, or astrology says you will get 85 years old. That's nice. That to come to that level, but that's a maximum length of life which is allotted to us. That but you can diminish it by simple reactions, by doing the wrong thing. That if you have a liver disease and the whole day you are drinking alcohol and eating a lot of sweets and well, what will happen? We know you are calling death nearer. So that's up to us. But it's only limited what we can do between certain limits. One is destined to get a certain disease. That yes, one gets that disease, but then one can try to do about it. If one does not try, will not come. But Prahlad Maharaj said, you can have the best doctor, and the patient may die. You can have the best parents. They take care of their children, but they cannot protect their children unless the Supreme Lord is willing. So there's always a Supreme will. But it's up to us. Krishna gives us the Vedas. We have Ayurveda, the medicine, and so many knowledge, also modern medicine, that we can take advantage of that. That we have, if people get problems with their arteries in their heart. When the devotee wrote me, our father was brought to the hospital, and that he had a heart attack. And because the arteries were clotting together, and they put a stent and that prolongs their life for some time. But you get a stent, you will also suffer a lot. Suffering increases, and you can get a little longer life. So we can try to do something about it, but it's always limited, and if Krishna willing, but it's our duty to do what we can to keep this body nicely running for Krishna's service. But at a certain moment we will fail, and that's a fact, it will come. And we must accept it. But we try our best. That if you live in goodness, you will live longer. If you live in passion and ignorance, you will shorten your life. These are the laws of nature. And it's our choice to live in goodness or in passion or ignorance. It's up to us. Does that help? Good. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay.
After death, can the subtle body continue with devotional service?
After death, can the subtle body continue with devotional service? The point is, the subtle body, that's not the subtle body of the demigods. They get a special subtle one. But the subtle body needs a gross body to function. So it becomes, then the become like in a deep sleep. But of course, those who are very sinful, it is said they don't get again a gross body. So it means they are wandering around like a ghost. But the subtle body, so they are causing trouble to others. In this, they get a ghost body, they say. And in this ghost body, they are causing troubles to others. But you get a ghost body, that's also a body. So the subtle body needs a body to function. And mostly Prabhupada says, we leave the body, it's like 7 months deep sleep. And we wake up in another body. Of course, it's not really like deep sleep, because in deep sleep, when you have a good sleep, the subtle body is resting, and the mind is refreshed in the morning. We feel we had a good sleep. But like when I underwent anesthesia for my hernia operation, that hour was just taking away. An hour, I had no material consciousness. Spiritual consciousness is something else. No material consciousness. There was no connection between the soul and the subtle and the gross body. That although it is still connected, but there is no consciousness flowing from the soul in the subtle body and the gross body. And therefore, there was also no sense of time. So so it's different than real deep sleep. The consciousness is disconnected really with this world, but it remains seven months in this deep sleep, so-called, and then you wake up in another body.
But if it remains 7 months in deep sleep, then how do they manifest as ghosts? Because in the ghostly form, which is subtle body basically, they can speak, they can move objects.
Yeah, but that's another thing. After 6-7 months, you wake up in a new gross body. But those who get the ghost body, after they leave the body, Krishna gives them a ghost body.
So the ghost body is different from subtle body?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ghost bodies, they get a ghost body. Ghost ghost spirits, it's also a living form. But it can also be that a subtle body hovers around due to attachment from the body, but there is no real consciousness. It's attachment. The super soul makes them, because they are attached, they are not wanting to leave the body. And they are hovering around for some time. That is there, yeah, there is no consciousness. But of course, everything can happen.
But the subtle body has the individual spirits, that means it has consciousness.
It has consciousness. The soul, the consciousness is withdrawn into the soul.
Is withdrawn.
It's conscious of the soul, that's all. Consciousness is always there, always. Like in deep sleep, we are also conscious, but only of the soul. It's withdrawn. The consciousness is withdrawn from the gross body and the subtle body, and it is in the soul. But the deep sleep is still different from leaving one's body. Because in deep sleep, we are still connected some way or another with by the cover. We are still covered by this subtle and gross body. We are still covered, because if you can wake someone up by shouting into the ear, so there's still a subtle connection. But what I'm saying, during anesthesia, also that connection is gone. It's not there. You can call, but it will not happen. So it's more like anesthesia, the deep sleep. But due to attachment, the soul may be hovering, but there is no consciousness really. That, as far as I know, that there's no indication that there is consciousness. It's due to attachment that the soul remains there, and Krishna respects that attachment. But like I said, Krishna can do anything. Like you have in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, the movements of the living entities, and there you have the soul praying to Krishna in the womb of the mother. But that's extraordinary. It's not that every soul will do that. That's by Krishna's mercy that can happen. But that's very rare. That, like we had also, it depends on, because we have an evolution of consciousness, because on this subject there's much more to say. Like you have in the Bhagavatam, Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj thinks of a deer and becomes a deer, but he has still his elevated consciousness with higher intelligence by the will of the Lord. Because he was at bhava, he was beyond liberation already. So he retained having that. So if one is spiritually advanced, the situation may be different. But most people are not spiritually advanced. They are in ignorance. And there's no, even those in the lowest most of ignorance, those who is completely gone with drugs and alcohol, they are barely conscious. That and yeah, that is a different situation. And that Koshad Bharat, after the deer he became Jad Bharat, he was still conscious of his previous lives. That means expanded consciousness. Someone with expanded consciousness can have, going from one body to another can be another experience. But mostly we don't undergo that. But yes, anyway, we leave it up to Krishna. Whether we are conscious or not is factually up to him. And that, but when one is spiritual advanced, beyond liberation, one's consciousness is not covered anymore. And that was with Jad Bharat. So that's good, whatever advancement we make, that because real consciousness, pure consciousness is Krishna consciousness and cannot be covered. And that is the point, and that we should not be so concerned with those in the lower modes who become spirits and so on. It's up to Krishna. That, but when we become elevated, our consciousness doesn't perish anymore. There's no interruption of consciousness after liberation, and that is hopeful. That, but normally after liberation you don't take birth, but Bharat Maharaj did, because Krishna wanted to show us lessons. It's a very extreme, extraordinary situation, but we can learn something from it.
But after liberation, we do take birth, Maharaj, because in liberation we are going up to the Brahman platform.
Yeah.
And since we cannot reciprocate with Krishna at that platform, we still have to come back down.
That's right. That's Yenyerev Indakshvi Muktamanast first Bhava Vishuddha Buddhaya. But it is still liberation, but they are coming back on their own accord because they want to come back, because there is no activity and the soul wants activity. But that's up to them. If they want to stay there, they can stay there. But yeah, it's liberation. But that kind of liberation is not desirable. Yeah, good. I hope that helps a bit. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Have a nice day.